Hello again, everybody. I'm Josh Bean from AL.com. I'm here with Jeff Sentell. We're here to talk about tonight's AHSAA high school football playoff games. We're going to talk about 3 games, but the first 2 are in 6A. Jeff, let's talk about Clay Chalkville, Florence. Give people a taste of what they can see tonight.
You know, Josh, this is my favorite video of the week because I'm so excited about this. I mean, I almost want to get into a blocking stance and drive block down to the camera because this is a great game. I think the winner of the state title game will come out of this one. But oddly enough, when I talk to coaches who know around the state, they're telling me, don't think Clay, Jeff. Think Florence.
And why is that?
Well, I hear box. You know, the box is the 4-man front or the 5-man front and the 3 linebackers. The box dictates how good a team is at stopping. The amount of men in the box. Let me get that out there. The amount of men in the box dictates whether you want to run or throw. I've heard Florence's box is Hoover good, and you know, translation. You know what that means? That means that might be the best in the state. Coaches worry about Clay, even with all of its offense and even with all of its touchdowns, they don't think without their all-time leading rusher, Terrell West, that they can beat that defense enough to win the game.
Keaton Anderson, Alabama commitment at linebacker, leads this Florence defense. Tyrell Pigrome, the Clay Chalkville quarterback, already more than 50 touchdowns combined running and passing this year. So what you're saying is Anderson and his mates can be the one to slow down this juggernaut.
Well, that's what I'm hearing a lot. I'm hearing that Clay's maybe 7 to 10 points underdog, even though they're at home. You know, Josh, I listen to all that rhetoric because those guys know about it far more than me. But whenever I approach a big game like this and I have to weigh on who's going to win or not, I really look at who has the best player, who's at home. And Clay Chalkville has the best player on the field in Tyrell Pigrome, the junior quarterback, with 51 touchdowns through 13 games. I also think Clay Chalkville has the second best player in wide receiver T.J. Simmons. You know, Florence is going to have to spy Pigrome because he runs the ball so well. He's over 1,000 yards, and it might take Keaton Anderson to do that. And gosh, Keaton Anderson chases so well and creates plays and chases things down. That might take away one of the strengths of the Florence defense. And if we remember, you know, Starkville beat Florence earlier this year when they didn't have their quarterback, but Shades Valley beat Florence earlier this year. And you know, Rashad Louis can really run the ball, but I think Tyrell Pigrome is a much greater dual threat.
And let's not forget last year Florence eliminated Clay Chalkville. It's the last time these two teams played. Florence won. Quick, who wins the game?
You know, I just go with the home field. I go with the better players. I look for it to be in like a 31-27 game, but I do think Clay Chalkville gets the victory.
I also like Clay Chalkville simply because they're playing at home. The other 6A game, Saraland, Spanish Fort, these two teams played in last year's 5A semifinals. They played earlier this year in a region game. Spanish Fort won both of them. Who do you like in this one?
Well, first of all, forget about who won the region. That was Spanish Fort. And forget about who won the earlier game. That was Spanish Fort. But they did so with Tyler Johnston on the field for most of the points in that game. They got up big, and then he hurt his knee, and he was out for the year. I think Spanish Fort wins for an entirely different reason, and that's defense. You know, Mark Freeman is going to do what he does on offense. He's going to have a great plan. He's going to put the ball in the hands of his playmakers and on really high reward plays. But to me, Spanish Fort linebackers are also Hoover good. I really like the mix of juniors and sophomores they have there with this senior in the middle. I think home field, Mark Freeman, great linebackers, great defense. And you know what? I've also got to go with a little bit of karma, a little bit of Team of Destiny stuff. Spanish Fort wins last week with an 8th grader's field goal as time expires to beat a very gritty, very good McAdory team. I just think those things happen for a long playoff run.
I also like Spanish Fort, but here's the X factor. Chris Weaver, the Saraland quarterback, very good running and throwing the ball. He has progressed as the year's gone along. He's a first-year starter, but he's got 13 games under his belt now. So if he can make some plays with his leg, keep those linebackers off balance, you know, I think that he's the X factor. If he plays really well, I think Saraland's got a real chance in this game. Jeff Kelly's had a great record everywhere he's been. I'm not sure they get over the hump tonight, but I think this will be a great game. The third game we want to talk about, we're here at Homer Smiles Stadium Field here in Leeds. Leeds will leave here. They'll go down to Mobile to play UMS Wright. What do you think of this game? This seems like maybe this is the 4A championship game.
I think it is, and I think a lot of people around the state would probably unanimously agree with you. You know, storyline here, first off, UMS Wright, the Bulldogs, Coach Terry Curtis can progress on and have a chance to win his 6th state title.
Nobody's ever done it.
That'd be a state record, but also you've got a Leeds program that won state titles in 3A in 2008 and 2010. I've always thought Keith Etheridge is one of the state's top young coaches, but here's what I'm hearing. Leeds feels that this is their best defensive line they've ever had, and man, they had some slobber knocker teams in 2008 and 2010, especially on the defensive front. When they say they're that good, that gets my attention, but also the way the skill talent is spread around at Leeds. They're going to have, Josh, if they make it to week 15, I think they'll have 3 running threats with at least 1,500 yards. That's staggering football. And hey, 2 quick things. They won last week 62-0 in the quarterfinals against Mumford, and they have the only team in the AHSAA playoffs right now yet to surrender a point.
Well, you bring up an interesting point about the coaches, Keith Etheridge, Terry Curtis, and those guys have enough championship rings to start a jewelry store. So coaching is not going to be a problem in this game. I like UMS Wright for one old-fashioned reason. They're playing at home, and it's a long trip to go from Leeds all the way down to Mobile. But secondly, you mentioned that the Leeds is front. UMS Wright wants to run the ball. Troy Dixon seems to be healthy. He's the school's all-time leading rusher. They've run it on just about everybody they've played this year. This will be a strength on strength. Leeds is front against a UMS team that wants to run the ball. However, I really like UMS in the game. I know you and I disagree on this one. I think this will be a great game. I think it will go down to the fourth quarter. And remember, Terry Curtis is such a masterful play caller. It'll be fascinating to see how he uses Troy Dixon, some of these other weapons, see if they can knock off this really talented Leeds team.
Should be a great football game. Should be a treat.
You can follow all of our coverage of tonight's playoff games at AL.com or AL.com/highschool. Thanks for watching.